Hello, and welcome to KennyMoy.com. I'm Kenny Moy. This is the Ask Video Mail for the week of May 18th, 2015. Welcome to the site to you new members, and welcome back to the old members. The Ask Video Mail is your chance to get your question in character animation or performance answered in a video just like this one, but I need your question if I'm going to answer it right. Yes, so please send it to webmaster@KennyMoy.com. I go through all the questions, and I answer the ones that I think will help the most people, just focusing the camera here. There's no such thing as a stupid question, and it is the best way to get the most out of the site. What's going on? Man, things are super exciting. I feel like I've turned over a new leaf. Still doing, still working on the feature film here. We got TV clients, some VFX stuff, commercials here and there. So that's all sort of like on autopilot. But ever since I started doing some game development, the fantastic, fun, super awesome thing about it is that you get you get an idea and you can put it out there like in a span of a month. I mean, depending on how complex the idea is, but it's just really fun to put content out there so soon after you think about it. Now, of course, I want to do some big like epic storytelling, in my games, and I'll get there. But for now, if you want to support me, please download my games. If you just go to the Google Play Store and search for Arconics, you know how to spell it, or Boink, Boink with a Q, B-O-I-N-Q. You can download my latest game and play that. Rated 5 stars, please. It really helps me out if you give me a high rating. I did this marketing thing, and a lot of the traffic that I was sent by the marketing was people with really old devices, and they couldn't install it, and I got a huge amount of 1-star reviews. So it's all 5-star and then some 1-star, and so it really kind of dragged the score down. So if you could help me by fixing that, I would really really appreciate it. Anyway, besides that, move that monitor out of the way. Besides that, basically things are just going on as they do, but I'm having a lot of fun. So if you haven't heard, I am opening up Arconics to game developers in the area to join us and develop together and have a lot of fun. So if you know anybody who's a game developer, please let them know that I'm doing that. But let's get to the question. Enough with the announcements. Check it out. You know what? That's a great question, and I'm glad you asked. There have been a lot of ups and downs. Feels like a lot more downs than ups lately, hasn't there been? Specifically, I would say that the fact that Adapt, which was trying to be the Association of Digital Artists and Professionals, but what they were trying to do was basically establish a organization with some strength for us. And they decided that they had to stop. There just wasn't a clear, winnable future for them. So the sad thing is that the industry is going to do what the industry is going to do. That's the kind of the sad short answer. I know a year ago, 2 years ago especially, when I started the first collabs, the idea was that we could work with associations like Adapt, or if there was a new trade organization or whatever, and sort of redefine the way things are going. It's going to have to be the market. Now, that doesn't mean that ideas like collabs are not going to still work. Ostensibly, if there is an amazing, profitable film that's made, with these run and gun techniques and with these kind of like new assumptions of the visual effects industry, or animation industry for that matter, it'll turn a lot of heads, and the sort of like the profit will determine that. So if we can show that doing that, like basically, respecting the artists, doing things like having a normal, like 40-hour work week, a reasonable amount of overtime that's asked of your employees, is not mandatory, it's asked of your employees, and it's paid, benefits, all these things, if we can add them to the the modus operandi, if we can make it, if we can show that you can be more profitable by giving the artists the control and letting us kind of like do our own thing, then it won't turn out to be a matter of, who do we have to fight to get this to be done. We'll be asked to do it again and again and again, and it'll start small. So I would say kind of what I said in the very beginning, before collabs, which is you need to always be producing stuff. You have to, because the next YouTube sensation or the next viral video or whatever is going to come from is going to come from somebody that has made that sort of like an accepted part of being an animator. Not just, and this is where I think some of the schools kind of fail their students. Not just like, I have to learn how to produce animation that looks like this if I want to work here, and that's all. And that's all that I'm hoping for. That's all that I should hope for. And I think it's dangerous to encourage people who are outside the industry, students, people who are learning, that they need to learn, just like, I'll take an example, the Pixar method of animating, so that they can end up working at Pixar. And then when that doesn't happen, which it won't happen for 99.9% of animators, I'm sure it's actually a little bit even smaller amount of people compared to the total number of animators. Jason Schleifer in the Nimble Creative, in the Nimble like keynote that they gave at that web conference, said that there's 100,000 animators that graduate every year worldwide. 100,000? Or how many animators are at Pixar? I don't even know. My guess would be like 200, 300 out of the entire company, maybe 200, 300 animators. Around there, I don't even know. So yeah, not even 99.9%. That dream, just by math, no matter how good you are, that dream is only 0.0001% of animators. So this idea that you need to learn how to animate so that you can work wherever is the wrong. I think that's the wrong way to think about it. So in order to help the industry, my simple answer for you would be just always create stuff. Always create stuff. The more content that is out there that is from us, that is under our control, the more likely it is that something that is under our control is going to take off. It's going to be viral, okay? It's just going to, that's, again, just playing the numbers game. Whereas if the only little, little cartoons and little games and whatever it is, if only gigantic companies are putting that stuff out, then we will end up having no choice but to work for those companies, and that's it in life. So if we saturate the market with our stuff and we bury the big boys content with our things, then suddenly the industry will have to be a lot more artist-centric. It'll have to be a lot more respectful of our time because of what we bring to the table. Otherwise, if there's a studio that opens up and they say like, yeah, we kind of start, and I've heard literally, I'm not even going to exaggerate. Yeah, we start at about 50-hour weeks, but we haven't really established, what our work week really is. So, coming onto this project at this point is kind of late in the game. We're probably going to go up to, weekend work and whatever. But, we start around 50 hours a week. And I know a lot of people that have been working on staff at some places. They would love to go back down to a 50-hour week. But at any rate, if a studio opens up and they really want to get into content and they're offering, 50, 60 hours a week, no overtime pay, like crappy working conditions, and really the project isn't all that exciting, then they're going to have to compete with the opportunity that you have as a creator and as an animator that can make stuff that people want. They're going to have to compete with that. They're going to have to say, no, don't have fun on your own making these little, cartoons or games or whatever you're making and putting out there and making a little bit of money from. Don't do that and have a lot of fun. Come do it for us and have, no fun at all and maybe not even get paid for your time. How's that sound? And then you say, no, forget that. I'm not going to do that. We're still kind of far out from the moment where you can literally just choose to make content, and that if you build it, they will come. There's no really sort of even platform for animated content. There is for animated games, or there is for games. The Play Store, the App Store. Of course, it does come down to marketing. You do have to market your stuff, but Play Store and App Store, it's fairly even. It's a fairly even market. Just because navigating it on a mobile device is actually it's always going to be a little cumbersome. And as much as they push apps in front of you, if you're searching for anything, you'll probably find something that has 10 installs. If you look for longer than 10 seconds, I find a lot of games that have 10 installs just by doing that. So my point I'm trying to make is that yes, they have the most popular apps. You can search by that, and they have the promoted apps, and you can search through those and whatever. But then when it comes down to it, if you do a search for something that you want to do, if you want to play a ninja game, you type in ninja, you'll get the one that has 10 million installs, and then if you go not that far down, you'll see the one that has 15 installs. And so it's still it's a pretty flat, pretty even market in terms of discoverability and stuff like that. Of course, well, at any rate. So we're kind of far. So on YouTube, it's not the same. So if you wanted to be a YouTube sensation or something, you still have to be pretty crafty, and you still have to do a lot of self-promotion and marketing to try to get people to see your content. So that might not be that might be a little bit further out in terms of trying to establish an even market for animated content that people can just go to and pay 99 cents, and then they get all of your animations or whatever. And that's what it would have to be. We have to go for volume here. So if there is there's 1 billion people in China, and and there's 7 billion people in the world, and if just 1 million of them pay 99 cents, well, then you made $1 million. So if you can get to the point where you are accessing, you're getting in front of everyone who wants animated content, we're a little bit far out from that, but that is not an impossible future. It's not at all. But what it will take to get the platform is going to come from the content. The platform, so people used to email each other MPEGs, and then YouTube came around. Right? So I used to get an email with an attachment that was hey, check out this cat, like falling off of the bed. Ha ha ha, right? And then YouTube came around, and so it was to prevent people from, just like emailing each other these videos. Why don't we put it all online so that everybody can watch the same videos? Brilliant, right? Well, YouTube exists for animated content. I mean, you can put animated content on YouTube, but if you're trying to discover animated content, it's not a very flat market. It's sort of still very uneven in terms of like the way that like channels are promoted, and just like viewership, and the search won't really ever get you exactly what you want, as hard as they try. But if there was a flood of hundreds of thousands of like little 1-minute shorts, I guarantee you, at least YouTube would at least make a separate place for animated content. And I'm not talking about just like the animation category on YouTube. I'm talking about like a market for animated content that would just be created, or maybe Google wouldn't do it. Somebody else would do it. Say like, this is where all, if you're making little animated cartoons or little whatevers, this is where you put it, and then everyone in China knows to come here and watch these funny little things, and they pay 99 cents and they get all of them, that kind of thing. Anyway, so the answer to I had a different answer, because I was saying like support adapt, and like go to like your local like union meetups and talk to people in the industry. Don't if you can help it, don't work at places that are obviously exploiting their artists and all those things. But now I would say that the answer is even more. You have to be making content. Don't learn animation or be sitting right now with blinders on, thinking to yourself that I need to learn how to animate so that I can work at this place that I really want to work. There needs to be some competition for our talents, and the only way to do that is to create enough content that our content is competing with the big boys. So make short films. It doesn't matter how big it is. It could be a 30-second short. The guy that did Spider-Man Moves to the Country, I'm not sure how long that is. I think it's like 15 seconds. And how many views does it have? I'm just going to really quickly check. It's this hilarious thing. It says like Spider-Man Moves to the Country. All right, 30. All right, so it's about 15 seconds of titles. He's sitting there on the, I can't show it to you. He's sitting there on the roof, runs, throws his web, and then falls on like in the middle of the cornfield because the web, doesn't stick to anything. That's it. So it's about 15 seconds of, 15 seconds of animation. And it's got 113,000 views on YouTube right now. And I saw it posted on Reddit, right? 15 seconds of actual animation. It's got titles, it's got credits, but about 15 seconds of animation. Okay? It's 2 shots. So do that. If you're doing 11-second club to work at Pixar, and you're cleaning up, you're doing really, really well. You might not be winning, but you're doing well, and you're finishing your stuff. Stop doing it. Stop it right now. Put down the Wacom and listen. Do a 11-second short, like 2-3 shots. That's it. All right. Do that instead. It's funny. On YouTube, there was these guys called 5-second films. And these guys had, before there was such a thing as Vine, which is 6-second films, these guys were making what were called 5-second films, and all they were was like 3 shots. And they were live action, so they're taking their camera, but all of them had like a beginning, middle, and end. All right? These guys have 389,000 subscribers on YouTube, and they're partnered, and that's good for about I think you get somewhere between like around $5 or $6 grand per million views if you're partnered. Okay, and every single one of their videos. Here we go. This one has 1.7 million, 1.8 million, 2.5 million, 3 million, 6.4 million. So they had the idea. These 5-second film guys, they had the idea a long time ago, before Vine and before the Instagram one. I can't remember what it's called, but you know, those short videos that you can post on your Twitter. They had the idea. Let's like all we don't have the time to make feature films. We don't even have the time to make shorts. What if we make like 5-second films that have a beginning, middle, and end? Hey, I love you. I don't love you. My heart's broken. And then boom, 5-second films. That's what they're like, and people love them because they're hysterical. Okay. And so now they are making a living. Ostensibly, I'm not sure how many of them there are, these guys, and splitting the YouTube channel and whatever. But that's minutia that you don't need to worry about. We all need to sort of jump on that bandwagon and stop learning to be somebody else's, star artist. We need to be so good and to be putting out our own stuff that they say, wow, we gotta lock that guy up. Let's get that guy or girl into our studio right now. And when you come in for your interview, they're pitching you on why you should stop having a blast doing your own stuff and work on their thing. That's where we need to be. So anyway, I know I started ranting a little bit, but the best way to help the industry is to actually saturate it, flood it with your ideas. All right, and then we'll get somewhere. I'm Kenny Roy. This has been a lot of fun. Thanks for the question. Good luck with your animation. As always, rock on.